Hello and welcome to your favorite show is Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni and I'll be your host for today's show. I have in the studio my regular partner, striking partner for the Olympic show, Alpha. Welcome to the show.
Once again, nice to be here.
How you doing?
Good.
How's today like?
Well, fine. At least we're hoping to wrap up, Team Nigeria's performance with, two more medals, but it wasn't to be.
Of course, it wasn't to be. Dapo join us all the way from Lagos. Dapo, if you can hear me, how are you doing today? How is Lagos? Okay, Dapo has not joined us from Lagos yet. Okay, but we have with us the bronze medalist from the 2004 Athens Olympic, talking about Musa, who joined us all the way from London. Musa, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you very much for having me on your program, Ronaldo. And
You're welcome.
looking to again to part today.
Okay, let's look at Team Nigeria's participation at the ongoing Tokyo Olympics. Even though we have actually ended our campaign with just two medals, a silver and a bronze medal. So let's get your thoughts about Team Nigeria's participation at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, once again, good evening, Nigeria. The participation of Nigeria in this present Olympic, I think I would say that it's a bit of mixed feeling, lot of up and down, and but we thank God at least with the rescue with one bronze medal, which is from East Burma. And we will discuss more about the next weeks later on as the show goes on. But
Okay. Uh, let's go back to your days when you actually competed for Nigeria during the 2004 Athens Olympic Games. That you actually was part of the 4x400 meters men's team that won the bronze medal. Tell us, how did you guys started your Olympic campaign?
yeah, one thing I need to really let you know to understand is the medal winning doesn't come one day. It's a real process of planning and implementation, which needs to really highlight so that everyone can understand. When you look at the winning medal of Lucy Boma, she and her coach for Coyote, they didn't start just one day. They actually, it takes a long, for you to win a medal in the next Olympics, you actually start training from this Olympics, to be fair. So during our time, I think Nigeria was, far better. I remember we have the secretary of the Nigeria, but actually, to be fair, I was a foreign beast, and then I have but people are cool. At that particular time, because I was communicating with everyone, people like so ready for body beams, inertia, food and bomb. I was communicating them. They were in serious camping in Abuja for over 6 months, a long prolonged camping. What Nigerians do serious now is not fighting, it's camping. If you can be able to camp these people for a long period of time, dedicated coaches, they don't have any problem. All they think about money. These people will make a lot of, the next Olympic will be history. But if you see Nigeria has come up with one bronze, that celebration will be complete.
Hmm. Tell us the competition proper itself. What really led to you guys, winning the bronze medal then in 2004?
Yeah, on the competition proper, winning the bronze medal, I think it highlights it because we are a team, from home. When I come to join them, I didn't show myself as to foreign graduate. I think there's no. We calm down, we work together, we work as a team. We try as much as possible to point out the negatives, the positives, we know ourselves. Even before the Olympic final in 4x4, we made the team. We know where we were wrong. We know each and everyone will say, oh, you wrong in this way. This one will say, yes, you wrong in this way. And we all agree. Even right from the beginning times, we agree that this is where we're going to go. So we all agree to each other. We know what we are doing. You know, so we did not allow maybe side distraction to distract us from what we are doing, even though there are some, lapses within it. One thing I think to understand is that every competition is important. The fact that the ministry or the host the competition whether military or anything, will never release money on time, and that is major factor that causes maybe some kind of dampen morals in competition. But at that particular time in Athens, we know money will be coming maybe 2 3 weeks maybe after the competition started. But what we do was not to distract ourselves, tell ourselves the truth. Look, guys, we're doing this for this thing. And since then, there are athletes who can do that. But let me tell you, we are hungry in Nigeria. You understand? The athletes are hungry. They don't have any other second job to do. The only thing they depend upon is this athletics. And because it depends upon this athletics, if you are not paid, you just your morale, you can't run. You can't even people are just all we do is wake up and train. You know?
Alpha, wants to ask some question.
Yeah, so during your time, for instance, while you guys were in camp and all these issues, we are experiencing, on the way to Tokyo, issue of, kids and all that. Did you guys, experience those kind of things way back then?
Seriously, no. Seriously, I don't know. I don't think it's because maybe probably in 2004 we don't have WhatsApp or Facebook, or I think there was Facebook, I remember. But
Mhm.
to be sincere, when we get to Germany, the day we get to Germany, our kid was in Germany. I don't know who set up that contract, for that contract for the we get to Germany, the day we get to Germany, I didn't even bring any money, uniforms. But when I get to Germany, they just told me, okay, go into that room. There is a bag that's different. I went there, picked up my bag. There was, a running the look, I can wear 3 to 4 meters in a day and just jump them. I was impressed. There was no issue of this keeping everybody who ran to was in the team in 2004 was telling this story. We don't have issue with kitting companies. Kitting companies were just there for us to just use. You know, but now I don't know. There shouldn't be issues with kitting company these days. But the whole thing is just that there's a mix up somewhere which the ministry and AFN need to clear their airways. Yeah.
Looking at Team Nigeria's performance, the likes of Enoch Adegoke, the likes of Ishekiri, do you think that they are stars in the making in the future?
Absolutely. I will not stand here. I don't blame those guys. Enoch Adegoke did well. What year did you have anybody in the final in the Olympics? When you look at it as far back as I don't know again, maybe during Olapadia and the rest of the time in the Olympics, I'm not sure. But when you look at it, well, these guys have done well. Enoch Adegoke, I don't know who. I know his coach is in Germany. What's his name again? The young guy that went to Germany to go and train himself, to go and equip himself. He trained Enoch Adegoke, and he's doing well. Enoch is doing well. I wouldn't fault him for anything. But with the right direction and and coaching, man, this guy just ran a 9.98. You know, if you get this guy well, the next Olympics, you'll be talking not just getting into the final, talking of winning medals. There are other people like that, like Enoch, like Jepa. They are there. But the only thing is they haven't got the looking after we got during our time. Yeah.
Okay, looking at when you actually heard the news about 10 athletes were disqualified from the Olympic Games, what actually came? What was the first thing that came to your mind, and what is your reaction about that?
Seriously, I was shocked. We have ministry that should know better. Understand? For we here, that if you don't do your COVID test, you're not going to go to work. So, in my workplace, I'm in the military. Thank God for that. Senior member of the military in the British Army. I I know that if someone didn't, do his, lateral flow test for a week, we'll send him back home to go and stay for 10 days isolation till we get any results back. So they should know, the ministry should know. When you're taking people as contingent, you make some kind of arrangement. One, with the embassy, the country you are going, you need to contact that embassy. You need to know the rules. If I'm coming to your house, I need to know the rules of your house. Do you go in do you go into someone's room with your shoes on, or do you take your shoes outside? These are common courtesies. When you go in for competition, you don't just carry people's kits and just dump them in Japan and say, right, mine is done. No, you know the etiquette. You need to ask. The secretary is there. What is his job? If the minister says is not aware of the COVID test, there's a pandemic going on in the whole world. We know. So you know that there should be a kind of a certain law and a certain procedure to get into that competition venue. In one bleeding, it happened. So they should understand that these are the protocols, these are the pros and cons. They should understand. And that's what I really, I don't blame the athletes at all.
At this point, what will be running through the athlete minds, because we saw them protesting because they were not allowed to compete. But as a former athlete, what do you think was actually running through those that turned that disqualified athletes? What was running through their minds?
Yeah, what for me, I think I will not actually see what is running in their mind because I'm not a people like to take a Chinese. It doesn't take a Chinese rocket science man to know what is going on in their mind. You know what? Because Olympic is 4 years. Some of them are 32, 33 years old. This might be their last chance. This might be their last shot. I know people like this triple jumper, the young triple jumper who just came into the team of recent. I would say, yeah, she's got more years in front of her to go to maybe probably 2 to 3 Olympics. But when you look at people like the discus thrower, I'm sorry to say, but there's a lot of problem going on, in their heart, thinking, will this be my last Olympics, or do I have any other chance of competing again? But some of them might be in their better form, in a better chance of competing this time. What they are thinking in their heart is that how can they be able to get this form? You understand? Again, you might be in the best shape of your life this year. Next year you might not be in that best shape of your life. So the best thing is, what's going on through their mind is that how can we make it again?
So, do you think that this, suspension or disqualification of, a good number of our athletes had a substantial impact on the overall performance of the others who were able to, still compete? Sometimes these kind of things could, rattle the camp. So, do you think it had some sort of an impact on the overall performance of the rest of the team members?
Just before you answer that question, Dapo, join us all the way from Lagos this evening. Dapo, how are you doing? How is Lagos this evening?
Lagos is fine.
Of course. So, okay, Mr. Musa, you can now go on with your answers.
Yeah. You see, one thing about athletics is that we're intertwined into each other. When we come to a competition venue, we're always happy with ourselves, and we kind of find consolation with each other. Whatsoever happened to the other person, you feel bad. So at that particular time, it's hard to pick up yourself again. But I think most of them did. They pick up themselves. They ran, brilliantly. Some of them get to the final, some did not. But yes, it will definitely affect them in such a way because we are different in our own different ways. Sometimes we deal with emotion differently, while some people don't. So that's why I would just say with that.
Okay, looking at Blessing Okabare's suspension due to the the hormone and the whole story the people do you think it should have been avoided, or what really went wrong?
I won't say what went wrong because I was not there and I wasn't with her. And but one thing is that she's been competing. I know of Blessing. I met Blessing one-on-one. Very good, athlete. very brilliant. I wouldn't say I wouldn't comment anything for now that this is what happened because I've not heard from her. I've not, but I believe, I'm in full support of Blessing. Day and night, I will still say it anywhere. I support Blessing. For the past 14 years, she's been competing clean. So something must be wrong somewhere, which I don't know. But I can't comment on anything about Blessing now.
Of course, Dapo, do you have a question for Musa Audu at this point?
Him to, give us his thought on the way forward. It's always that immediately after the Olympics, we always fall back. We go back to our shells. Nobody is doing anything. Now, even after now, elections into the various federations will be taking place in September, and new presidents will be coming in some of the federations. What does he think, Team Nigeria can do to sustain and consolidate on the performances of Tokyo 2020? What should Team Nigeria do? I'm talking about all the sports. What should we do?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, there's a lot we can do. Because in this country where I reside, I happen to be one of their high top coaches, and I'm grateful to the way the system is being set up. I told you from the beginning of this program, I said the next Olympics start from today. That's what this country do. The moment they come back, they sit on the drawing table. The whole coaches, being badminton, volleyball, netball, whatsoever, taekwondo and judo, they sit with the minister, so which is the director of programming. He will now sit with each and every department and each and every, it will take a week. They don't care. All they do is they consolidate what we call, they call it debrief. They do a debrief and talk to themselves and say, okay, right, this is what really happened. Why what fund was diverted to rowing and what fund was diverted to athletics? How can we make it more better? They sit down and then they consolidate. So what I expect Nigeria to do, which I don't think, I'm sorry to say, unless if something will happen somewhere, maybe something will happen from now as we speak, tomorrow or next tomorrow. What I see in the Nigerian camp is that the minister is not ready. It's either him or the highway. You understand where I'm coming from? So if, as a leader, you take a blame, that's what I understand about this country. The director of programming, which is Ian Hodge in this country, if they come back from any competition and they sit down, he is the one they nail to the wall. He takes every blame and say, okay, I take the blame, we will rectify it. And if that blame could not rectify, will not be rectified, you know what he do? He resign. Because he think it's a failure under his watch that things are happening. But in Nigeria, it is not so. We remain and retain office even while we are failing. One thing I would like to say, and I will continue to say, the day we start owning up to responsibility in our country, that's the day we start moving forward. If the Minister of Sport will come back and sit with all the coaches, forget about your position. This is sport. Sport is physical. It's what you see. The psychological aspect of it is about 40%, but the physical aspect of this are 60% physical. You can't tell me the girl wrestling that win a silver medal, the coach don't know what to do, or the coach don't have other athletes that are better. There are other athletes that are better, but because opportunity don't come their way so often, we start preparing for Olympics 6 months before Olympics, while other countries start preparing for Olympics 4 years into the Olympics. Our failure is late preparation, and I'm still saying it. I remember in 2004, we prepared at least 1.5 years before that, and you can see the result across the board. Most people were in the finals, things were moving well, including football, when played very, very well. But when you prep 6 months before a competition, you say, oh, government hasn't given money. I remember I listened to an interview by the former Minister of Sport, Dalu. He said, I borrowed 50 million from a friend of mine just to aid camp. for the Olympic in Rio 2016. You understand? So we need people like that. Don't just sit down there and say, oh, we want to support you. Look, I tell you, I say sport is physical. You don't sit down and make so much, paperwork and write and say, this is what we're going to do. So what I expect Nigeria to do now moving forward is to go back. They should call all the coaches, sit down in a room. No athletics coach, including wrestling. No, the minister should have a panel. Forget about the MESs and sit down and write, okay, what do we need? We need a wrestling map, we need a camp, we need this. Okay, this is what we're going to have. We're going to get 20 people on this camp in Abuja. Then athletics, say in Ibadan. We got 30 athletes in camp in Ibadan. They divide it into different zones and hold those coaches responsible if there is no performance. You will see when they start holding people responsible, then performance will be coming. That is all I think about the next stage for us to go.
Looking at all the athletes, which athlete would you say was a standout athlete for you at these Tokyo Olympic Games?
Yeah, of course, the results speak volume. Ese Buma, so they stand out. Results is what, thank God athletics is result based. You do something and people see the result. We would have not known Usain Bolt if he's been coming last in every event. But because his standout performance is that he comes first in every of the Olympics, now he is all over the world. So we are all result bound. Because we are result bound, I'll say the most standout, performance are all the athletes I have mentioned. Ese Boma, the bronze medal, not forgetting Adegoke, who gets into the final. Everyone has done well, or they've done well to their capacity, to what they have been given. To whom much is given, much is expected. You understand? So that is all I have to say.
Looking at the reward for the athlete, were you guys rewarded in your own time?
Yeah, we were rewarded in such a way that in 2000. Just imagine. I remember President Obasanjo came in. We were preparing for the finals. The same engineer Abu Gumel came in, and we had a massive meeting before the game starts. And they said everyone who win a gold medal will go home with 5 million naira, and a bronze medal 3 million, a silver medal 3 million, and a bronze medal 1 million naira. I remember I said to them that, is this 1 million naira for the four? Because we know we are not running in the individual races. I said, is this for the four of us or each? I remember Engineer Abu Gumel say, I'm giving you 1 million each if any one of you gets into the final. So yes, we were rewarded, and happy to say I got my 1 million. It's not, it's not. Yeah, there was that reward.
Okay, so moving forward, just to buttress what Dapo said, you think the facilities we use in this country are adequate enough, or we need to, invest in more facilities? Let's say, for instance, in events like rowing, canoeing, where Nigeria are beginning to make inroads, but I think maybe we didn't do very well because of maybe lack of facilities. What do you think of, especially in these new events that Nigeria is making some sort of inroads in?
Absolutely, we need to invest in more facilities. When you come to this country, I don't know, but you know what, Nigeria, we have the money. The money is here. I remember during Koja, I was in Koja 2003. The facilities, where have they gone to? That's my question. The only thing we have in our country, I think, is lack of maintenance. But these people are not richer than us. When I take you to the stadium, I train. Even the military stadium alone, they employ certain group of people who they are called maintenance facilitators. The facility in there is for them to maintain it. When something is broken, they fix it right there and then. We have the capability to do it. I am saying it today. We have the capability to do You know, there are coaches who are improvising in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria in April before the festival. I saw coaches improvising facilities to train their athletes. I was moved. We hosted festival in Kaduna in 2015 or 2016 before the year. Yes, the facility Namadi Sambo brought into Kaduna, they were still the facility people are enjoying still here. Then those facilities were moved. I don't know where they moved them to. Don't even, ask where they would gone to. Now, when you go to Kaduna State Stadium, you don't even have a hurdle to run on top. You don't have a single hurdle. So there are facilities like the events of canoeing, rowing, and all. If they can be able, those guys who we should capitalize on the performance of those guys who went to Japan, bring them back and take from their experience. People like me, I've got so much experience in coaching, I've got so much experience in organizing things, and so if Nigeria will be dealing with people like that, get the experience of the expatriate, subject matter expert, not you bring somebody from, I'm sorry to say politics to come and run sport. There will be always, chaos. Moving forward, I think we need to invest more in facilities. You can't go to go and row with a boat and think you will have the same performance as somebody in a plastic canoe. So there is that opportunity. It's not those kind of technical events are not like athletics that you need just only a spike shoes to run. No, they are all technical. You need all your paddling, your canoe. Your canoe has to be your size, not having a 95-kilogram person in a canoe that can only contain 65 kilograms. All these things need to be taken into consideration. That is what I just need to say.
Of course, Dapo, at this point in time, do you still have a question for him? Okay, let's read a comment from Adebayo Amodu. You say Nigerians have heavily criticized the Minister of Youth and Sport Development on the direct following and embarrassing outing regarding the sportswear of Team Nigeria at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. What is your take on this, Musa?
I am not that kind of person that blame leaders, because leaders, sometimes we tend to make mistakes. But coming back from a mistake is what I'm not how many times you fall, but how many times you stand up. What I expect the minister to do, he's a father. He understands. They put him there for a reason. Call all the sports. Come down from your high horses. You build on things. You don't destroy things to build on them. You understand? He met one of the controversy I've been reading about is about the Puma contract. He came to see the contract. You don't just say, I'm sorry, I've not heard from him yet, and which I'm trying to do. I will get to him and I'll ask him, why did you don't use the contract? You saw a contract. Nigeria has been contracted for 4 years, and it's their last year. What do? You just sit down, call all the people, the parties involved with the contract, and say what is in the contract. Then when you listen to their part of the contract, then you say, okay, right, there is something we can do better. We either go back to Puma and say, if you're not happy with the contract, you write what you are not happy, you just write your grievances, give it to Puma, and then they read, and then they now settle the issues. So I don't blame Sunday Dari. Probably he's got advisors who didn't advise him well or anything. But all I ask him to do is to act like a father. Come back, call everyone together, and say, look, let's stop this fighting and let's move the sport forward.
Looking at funding generally in Nigeria has been one of the major challenges affecting sport development. You have been there in Europe and you saw how things work. What do you think that we can do differently in Nigeria to ensure that we have proper funding for our sport?
I think proper funding is to start involving private companies. The government cannot do it alone. In this country, the government don't even do sports. To be fair. So, like I run the army sports track and field. We don't even go to the government for money. We have a contract with this company called Lycra. So we personally, like for me, what I do, I go to companies like, if you know this company called Uville, I go to them, I say, okay, we'll put your logo on our shirts, while we run. But what we need from you is $60,000 to buy, to facilitate some other things for the athletes. So those athletes, what we do for them is that we get their name together, type it, send an email with those athletes' name to that company and say, okay, this so athlete will wear your kitten, your logo. And then they will say, okay, even though it's 12, they don't care. All they do, because those names we send to them, they will file those names into their tax return. And that's where the government comes in. So the government will subsidize all their taxes. So that's what Nigeria should do. We start taxing private investors, private parastatals. Tell me, what is Dangote doing? What is Federal doing? What is Glo doing? If you want sports to grow, you don't just support only musicians. I know they're supporting all these artists and giving Glo is giving this artist or this comedian 20-30 million. That is for one person. If you can put that money into sports somewhere, and government should subsidize all their taxes, sports will go far, far, far forward. So what I'm saying here is there are companies in Nigeria that today they don't even pay tax. I'm sorry to say, if they even pay tax, who are they supporting? They need to be affiliated with this athletes. They need to be affiliated with sports. In some, there are banks. The only thing you hear now is when Iseguma came back from maybe this competition, there's First Bank gave her 1 million naira. That is bullshit. That's not the way sports will run. It should be a continuous thing. People should be able, to get at least 40 athletes within. Say you get 40 athletes within the state and say, okay, right, yeah, First Bank, Standard Trust Bank will facilitate the progress of these 40 athletes. Then other states, again, that's the same way you do it. And government ensure that those banks pay into the welfare of those athletes, or those pay into the welfare of those athletes. You will see progress everywhere.
Producer, can you put it on the screen? Okay, this is coming from Samuel. What opportunity did you have as a medalist after the Olympics?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I don't know who asked that question, but I have a lot of opportunity. One is that the first opportunity is that after the Olympics, because I was a medalist, when I go to any meeting in Europe and before you come down and you are an Olympic medalist, what they do is that your ranking is different, you get paid differently. So that's that kind of opportunity. But I'm sorry to say, most of my colleagues that are in Nigeria, unless you come to Europe to come and run, you don't get those kind of opportunities. You're running in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the moment you win that Olympic medal and go back home, you are forgotten like a ripple, like a stone in water. When you throw a stone in water, the ripples just go like this. So that's how you are forgotten. But when I came back to Europe, because I was here, I was given, an honorary welcome. The army has to organize a whole lunch, stop my whole regiment from working for a day just for me. I was given, special promotion, so since I got a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of opportunity after winning a medal, to be fair. Yeah. Even up to date, I still have those opportunities favors coming around me because of that medal.
Another question from Samuel. So, looking at the way sport is mismanaged in the country, would you want your kids to represent Nigeria at the Olympics if they had the eligibility to represent another country also?
I won't say I will not have my kids to represent Nigeria. Nigeria itself is not bad. It is the people that run the sports. Tomorrow, the sports the organization might change to the better. But on that question, I would say my kids will decide. My young daughter is an athlete now. She competes. She runs for on the 12th and one of the best on the 12th. But I leave her to decide. But most of the times I can see her anytime Blessing Akagwari is running. She's always interested. She's always keen to watch Nigeria. she feel bad when Nigeria came second or third. No, I can see that zeal in her. So I'm not going to stop her. That's her will. You understand? That's what she wants to do. I can't stop her happiness. If she says she's the person to rescue Nigeria from its dungeon, congratulations.
This one in time, do you still have a question to ask? Hello, Dapo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh yes, yes. I have a question for him. Yeah, well, from the way you have spoken, it is very clear that you are grounded in the management of sports. What if a requisition comes that you should come to be a consultant, a sport consultant to Team Nigeria? Will you accept that role?
What's your question again?
Yes, from the way you have spoken, you were so brilliant in all your responses, and it shows that you are grounded in sports management. Now, as it is, if Team Nigeria should we send an invitation to you to be a sport consultant to Nigeria ahead of Paris 2024, will you accept the offer?
I can hear. I agree with what you say, and I hear now. You said if Team Nigeria, maybe Nigeria will give me that offer to come back, and help out with 2024. Would I accept the offer? Yes, I love Nigeria. Nigeria is a country I love, and even though I am here working in, sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you. People who know me, I buy kits myself and take to Kaduna and take to where I grew up. I am from Kogi, but my heart, I grew up in Kaduna. Same, I am made in Nigeria, brought up by the British, by Britain. But one thing is that I will take that offer and try as much as possible work with like-minded people. There are two things. When you don't have like-minded people, the way I was taught in this country is that when things are not working, resign. If you think you cannot change it, don't even spoil it. If I can't do a man any help, I will not do him bad. So if you give me the opportunity to come, I will come into the system and see what can we change. Then we will move things into a better direction. So I will try as much as possible, tell them how things run here and why they are not making all these massive mistakes. We'll try and put the mistakes into correction. And if they won't take it, then it's not for me to force it down their throats. I can only advise.
Your transition into the military.
Yeah, great. I think I got the opportunity in 2002, and I got the opportunity. I thank some of my colleagues who are here today. John Osazua, Leo Korafo. I met them in this country. I came to run, and then they said, "Oh, you have the opportunity to join the British Army." I was thinking, no, I won't do it. But today, I never, and I will say it again. I do not have any regret. My transition is that I've never been in the army in Nigeria. Just came here, joined, and they showed me everything. I'm up to today. They are still showing me the love. I rose from the rank of, a private, to an officer. So I am quite happy. They never showed me any difference. They gave me all the opportunities I want to get. They gave me opportunity to go to school. They gave me opportunity to do sports, which now I did the sport and I'm still a coach. So I think that opportunity is there, and I bet for any Nigerian to tap the opportunity. Thank you.
What future do you envisage for sport in Nigeria?
This today and then tomorrow it changes to the better, and people will say, "Oh, we did not see this coming." I know every country has its own flaws, and every association has flaws as well. We can't just be saying, "Oh, we are all perfect," and we cannot be saying doom and gloom about Nigerian sports. The sport is good. There are many good coaches out there that I knew of. There are good technical coaches out there. who are, very good. When I mean very good, I know them, But the issue is that we never agree with each other. That's a good future. But the day we start agreeing with each other, then we will now find out that things are working. Sometimes you have to give benefit of doubt to people. So that's what Nigerians are not given. When somebody makes a mistake, you just, criticize him, nail him to the wall. No, give him that benefit of doubt, and then advise him, then guide him, nurture him, and then he become a better person.
Is your projection for Team Nigeria for the Commonwealth Games? Is happening in London next year?
I think London, they got a camp going on now for under 18. Commonwealth it's when they say Commonwealth, it's a big competition, but not like the Olympics. But what I want Nigeria to do is to start on, concentrating on, a long-time plan. There should be a long-time plan, not a short-time plan. If you have a long-time plan like 10 years, and you say, okay, this is going to happen for 10 years, and when the next minister comes, don't disband it. You don't just, when you start building a house because you don't have money and you wait, when you get the money, then you build on it. You don't just come, okay, because you got money to do, destroy the whole foundation and start all over again. That's the problem with Nigeria. We don't build on performance. Now, Adegoke, gone into the finals, he's got that confidence now that, oh, okay, I can do this. Let's build on him. Let's encourage him. By the time he come back, give him 2 weeks to go back to his family, see his family, come back, then we give them a room in Abuja, say, okay, guys, listen, everyone within the Commonwealth camp, with those that didn't make the team, everybody back to camp in Abuja. So they will just camp them for the next 6, 7, 8 months. You will see the difference. So that's what I envisage. Nigeria should go back to drawing board, put these athletes in camp, invite all those coaches that that they can impact on these athletes. When they come out next year, they'll be smoking.
Last question from Sam at this point in time. He says, with the messy politics scene trailing the Olympic for Team Nigeria, do you think politics has a place in sport?
I said it from the start. There is no I've never heard someone say sport politics, but it's only in Nigeria I can hear sport politics, So, but one thing you need to understand is that sport is physical. So it's physical and it's mental, and the division here is 40 to 60. The physical aspect of it is 50% and the mental aspect of it is 40%. So there is no room for politics. If I can run, you cannot run. There is no 2 ways I'm going to, bring you into the team unless if there is politics in there. So that's when politics came in. And when politics came in, then the performance drops. There is no performance. It's no more sports. So politics, there is no room for politics in sports. That is the no-no.
Politics in sport, but for now we'll go for a short break. When we'll come back, we'll have just one last question for you and your final thoughts on the show, but for now we'll go for a short break. Don't go nowhere, please.
Okay.
Thank you for staying with us to Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. We are actually talking with 2004 Athens bronze medalist, and also he actually won a silver medal during the All African Game hosted in Nigeria 2003. His name is Musa Abdul. Musa, do you have any athletes that you are mentoring at this point in time?
Yeah, I've got about 10 athletes, young athletes, not the known ones you know about. I actually have a team, call it EMI Athletics, Musaudo Athletics Consultancy. So 10 athletes who they are not very well known, but give us time. We're still building something, and you will come to know them later when we start, coming up well. I'm still mentoring about 10 of them because I can't take much, when I here it's only 1 to 5 as a coach, but in Nigeria I can manage 1 to 10. So here in this country you can only have 5 athletes to yourself, but Nigeria, because of the kind of I got other people who are helping out with coaching and mentoring. So I've got like 10 athletes which I selected, and I'm still mentoring them back home.
What does it take to build an Olympic medalist?
Very, very good question. Uh, it's it's a long time process to build an Olympic gold medalist. It's a long time process. It's a refined process, like refining gold. You have to go through a lot, both failures and successes. You have to go through them, and it's take a dedication of both the athlete and the coach. You will make mistake, you will amend it, and then you come back again and then run through those mistakes, and then achieve little success. Those little success will now become what you add up to become. When you ask Usain Bolt today, how did you get there? He will tell you there are so many failures, but you know there is no blueprint, or there is no any blueprint paper somewhere that says this is how you can build an Olympic athlete. There is no blueprint out there. It's just sheer determination and plus luck, and then the athlete will get there.
Dapo, at this point in time, do you have any question? Okay, we don't have Dapo on the line. But Alpha, looking at some of his comments, do you have any addition before we let him go?
Not really a question, but to really more like a commendation. Like Dapo said earlier, from the way he's put up in most of his responses, it shows that he has a proper understanding of sports management, sports development, and all that. And you see, a lot of times while he was speaking, what was going through my mind was these are the kinds of people we need, to man our sports. These are the kind of people we call sort of square pegs and square holes. So, like Dr. Ashu, initially, we hope that someday, you take up a challenge to, sort of like mentors of Nigerian athletes. France is still like three years away. So we hope that someday you could, have a role to play in the grooming of these athletes, moving forward.
My last question for you: Will you be, seeking for an elective position in the AFN in the nearest future?
Yeah, I think because I would have been in the position of seeking maybe I want to be in a position that I don't want to be just a leader. I want to be hands-on. I want to be someone that if I can be able to have the ability to coach and head up an organization that is just basically, coaching director. That is the kind of opportunity I want to get. Become a coaching director that I can say, okay, right, these are draw programs and say this is what we should be doing. Instead of having, everybody everywhere like yo-yos. No, I don't want to become, say, if the minister would have allowed to, to come down and say, okay, right, this is what I want. have direction, that would be fine. I won't say I don't want to take any post in the AFN or guiding AFN. I won't dispute that at the moment. But the kind of position I'm looking at is like director of coaching, so that's something to do with the coaching and mentoring of the coaches before we can pass it on to the athletes. I think that's something that is wrong. I can see it from here that what we have here is because we have a coaching director that directs all coaches. So then people will follow suit. That is all I think of. I'm not thinking of, politics or politicking at this moment. I want to see how we can organize the coaches themselves to be able to mentor the coaches and then now start bringing up athletes. You can't somebody who doesn't know how to parent a child. So you need to, there are good coaches out there, but with a little bit of guidance, they will all blow up,
Dapo, do you have your final question for him?
No, I don't have any other question again for him. I'm satisfied with his responses. They are very, very apt, and it's a learning curve. He has said a lot of things that the team Nigeria should pick something from. This is somebody that is very, very valuable. He has a vast knowledge of development in sport. So they should actually take the opportunity, get his contacts, and work on it. Somebody like this will help Team Nigeria to come out good in 2024 and even beyond. If they keep saying, we don't want to do this, we don't have money. If you don't have money, you cannot achieve anything in sports. So they should. I just want to advise them. I know our program is going everywhere in the world. They will be watching. Please get the contact of this gentleman. He has actually competed for Nigeria before. He has won medals at the international stage. He's still coaching in the UK. He's still doing, athletes mentoring. He's going to be very valuable to the development of Nigerian sport. There's no two ways about it. It's not about pride, but about optimism. If you know technically you are not up there yet, and you have somebody who's a Nigerian who is up there technically, please give him the opportunity to help. Give him the opportunity to help, and it will go a very long way.
Okay, at this point, Musa, what are your final words at this point?
Just want to say, and thank you for giving me, this platform to speak about sports in Nigeria, which I don't usually do. I was invited to channel once, and I spoke once, and I will keep inviting. I said, look, I don't want to offend people, and I don't want to say anything that Nigeria, we are all face values, which I don't really like. Let's do the job. The athletes depend on us, to be able to, to deliver. But when we don't deliver, we are failing. But when we are failing and someone says we are failing, we don't accept that failure. That's where the problem is. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. And this we have offended today. They should forgive us, it's not easy, to come out. So I just want to say thank you again, Leadership Media, for inviting me, and God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Musa Audu, bronze medalist from the Athens 2004 Olympics, also silver medalist at the All African Game, for joining us on today's show.
Thank you so much.
Of course. For now, we'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we have a whole lot of stories lining up for you. Please don't go nowhere. welcome back. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. Earlier today, we saw our own Chukwuebuka lost out in the final of the men's shot put event. We saw him actually, he threw 21.8 meters in that particular one. We know that he's a African holders at this point in time. But looking at his performance and all that, do you think you should have actually pulled out an impressive performance in the finals?
Yeah, well, like when we previewed, this final event yesterday, I said I wasn't expecting too much from him. This is first Olympics. For the fact that he even made it to the final, he did well. So this Olympics should just be, like a platform for him to learn, gain experience. I mean, he has gotten some valuable experience, in my opinion. So, failing to make the podium, I really won't consider it as a failure. I mean, he was up against tough competitors. So I really think, I mean, even his comments after, you know, uh, his performance, he said he was even just being there was enough for him. But I mean, he's really looking forward to, competing, for Nigeria during the next Olympics in France. So it's a valuable experience, and I'm sure when the next Olympics come around, he must have learned one or two things, and be better at his um, his sport basically.
Of course, Dapo, looking at his age, he's just 28 years old, and Paris is just 3 years away. Do you see him actually getting to win medals when the Paris game, kicks off? Dapo, cannot hear you. Can you unmute your mic? Because we're trying to get through Dapo at this point in time. But we know that he's a African, record holder. He
Yeah,
won gold at the 2019 All African Games in Morocco. We saw that he didn't actually make it to the top five, but actually finished in the seventh position. Talking about the US athlete was the one that actually won that particular gold medal. Talking about Ryan Cruiser, he actually threw 23.30 meters in that particular one. That is even the US athlete, actually, he's a world record holder in that particular record. He didn't actually break his world record. But looking at the likes of silver medalists went to an American also before a New Zealand athlete getting to pick up the bronze. But at this point in time, it seems that the Americans are the one dominating when it comes to
clearly,
field games.
clearly, gold and silver went to the Americans. Chukwuebuka himself is a college champion over there in the States. Like we say all the time, a lot of quite a few of our athletes who competed in the Olympics, some, had won gold medals as at the All Africa Games. But like we keep saying all the time, it's always a different ball game when you get to compete at the global stage. You cannot really compare the All African Games sort of with the Olympics, for instance. So winning gold at the African Olympic, when you go to sorry African
Okay,
All African Games
it's
rather.
still like the African Olympics.
Yes, exactly. So when you take it a notch higher, the competition becomes stiffer because at that point you are not just competing against other Africans from different countries, but you are competing against different people from different continents of the whole world. I mean, the best of the best assembly is like, a congregation of the best athletes from different parts of the world. So at that point, the competition is stiffer, so you being an African champion at that point might not be enough for you to, so you really have to, do your best, come up with with your best game to really make, a solid impact at that kind of level. But kudos to him. I feel he has plenty of room to improve. It's not easy being even coming at that position to even qualify for the final, because a lot of people other athletes who competed didn't even, get to exactly first Olympics. So it's a good one, and it's not even easy competing. How many athletes actually compete in their first Olympics and win medals? Very few. There are few exceptional athletes here and there who compete in the Olympics, very, very first Olympics, and they go home with medals, but it's very rare. So a lot of artists use the first Olympics just like a springboard, to bigger and better things moving forward. So kudos to him. I hope to see more of him. Hopefully, he gets to qualify for France 2024, and I believe when he gets there next time around, he should be able to do better. At least make the podium.
Dapo, let's get your reaction on that performance.
Well, I see him possibly coming back again at Paris 2024. Looking at his performance, looking at his pedigree, he's a very good athlete who is very determined to win. But when he's coming the next time, he should please talk less and don't get distracted. He got distracted, actually. He got distracted. If he had actually maintained his line, maintained his lane, focus on his performance, all his mind, put on that performance and the way to beat other athletes, other competitors, he will have done very, very well. But he
Hello, Dapo. Of course, he was just trying to make a point that Chukwuebuka was just talking. He didn't actually concentrate.
Maybe like lost concentration.
Lost concentration because we saw a video of him, getting to watch his jersey before the finals. And
absolutely, just a quick one that, like Musa said initially, he said in their days, social media wasn't as really an issue the way it was, the way it is now. So the tendency for athletes to be more focused then was higher. But and I agree with that. But athletes these days, every little thing, every little feat, they run to social media to get engagement.
But so at this point in time, should we actually keep our athletes away from social media when they get to compete for international events?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It's just a matter of being focused and disciplined. Other athletes from other countries who have been winning medals left, right, and center, and even breaking their own records, actually have access to social media. But when it's time to focus on business is business. So it's best when you have a job to do, focus on the job at hand, and put social media in the background. So I think that was the point there.
Of course, because we saw the build up to the finals. The whole of him getting to watch his jersey, it went viral. Everybody was just actually talking about it. And for me, it has actually caused a whole lot of distraction, build up to the final. Yes, we know that there was a certain press release that came out and said his focus, there's no one distraction at this point in time. But the deal has done. It actually reflected in his performance on the final day, and it's also sad that he could not actually make it to the podium finish. But it's just, for me, he has gained the experience. This is his first Olympics. We're expecting him, to come back.
He's just 24 years.
He's 28 years.
28,
but
okay.
He's a shot put. So
at your
30s, you can actually not get to play the sport.
In sports like shot put, you see people in their 36, 38 still competing. So if he keeps himself, keeps improving, he can still compete in another 2 or 3 more Olympics. So I like I said, I hope to see more of him. and hope that in future he gets to make the podium.
Of course, the next stop for
Forward.
him will be the Commonwealth Games, expected not to represent the country in London. It will be happening next year, and we are hoping that he will, get back to his feet and ensure that he gets to win a medal at the Commonwealth Games. So, we say all the best to Chukwuebuka at this point in time. Away from Chukwuebuka, we're still talking athletics, where Nigeria was unsuccessful in the women's 4x100 meters event. We see the quadrant of Tobia Musum, Wisuma Culture, Michelle Okun, and Ese Brume, getting to crashed out. They actually crashed out in the first heat of the event. They finished in sixth position in that particular one in hit two with a timing of 43.25 seconds in that particular one. But at this point in time, we do actually not blame those girls, their performance, because we know that about a good number of athletes who were supposed to run for this particular race, they were affected in the disqualification and also Blessing Okagbari in the suspension. Did they actually affected the team going into that race?
It did. Like I said yesterday, these athletes who competed in the 4x1 were just drafted. It was a makeshift team, not like that's what they went to Tokyo for. All of these athletes went to Tokyo to participate in their own, different events. But with the, mass suspension that hit the Team Nigeria camp, we needed to present a team for the 4x1. So in this case, what do? You assemble the athletes you feel have sort of the capacity to compete in a race like this. Well, I said it clearly yesterday that I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it wasn't a matter of
we said
it wasn't a matter of being pessimistic or anything like that. I knew that, they weren't going to make the cut because you can't assemble a makeshift team to compete against a team who that is their specialty and expect to trounce them. This kind of things simply don't happen. So when the results came out earlier on, I wasn't surprised. I didn't feel bad. The only thing is, we went from not expecting any medal to having two medals. Then our hope sort of picked up to like hoping that we might end up with 4 medals, and at the end of the day, the hopes all were deflated. So as it stands now, we've ended up with just 2 medals, and thankfully, Brube and Blessing have saved the day for Team Nigeria and even Nigeria as a whole. If not by now, I wonder what the reactions would have been from across Nigeria, because if not for the face-saving performances of SC and Blessing, this would have been a disaster and probably rank among one of the worst Olympics Nigeria has participated in. So we hope to prepare, like Musa said. When we come back, we should start preparing for France from today.
In this part of the world, we don't get to prepare. We wait for when the Olympics is just 2 months away before we get to prepare. But there's a question coming from Sam. He said the host of our athletes either outside the country training or based outside the country as an athlete, is that at the aim? At this point in time, I feel
for a lot of that's the aim. It's just like telling a professional footballer who plays for Kano Pillars, asking him if going to play for Europe is
for Barcelona.
Exactly, because you simply cannot compare the environment, the facilities, the athletes who are based over there are exposed to, and the ones here. Take even for example, Essay and Blessing. If not for that they are kind of based abroad, I don't and from their performance you can see the difference was clear between they and the athletes who are home based. So of course it's the aim of every athlete to train abroad, because not because for the aura of living abroad, but because you have better facilities, better training, your nutrition is spot on, and all of these things, and you hardly find issues where you go to train and you are lacking enough, equipment, or you don't even have enough spike shoes to run, and you have to make do with regular trainers. So I think that's the aim for most artists.
Of course, because the athlete themselves, they want to actually, improve on their career. And the best way for them to improve is for them to go and train with their foreign counterpart, because they have the better techniques. They have they are using
better
the latest technology for them to actually improve themselves in the course of the game. So I just want to tell every athlete that want to do well, he or she will actually want to fly straight abroad, due to the fact that they will get to improve. Even their ranking in the world will improve. Their psychology about the game will change and all that. So at this point in time, it's actually good for athletes to actually fly that trade abroad. Still talking about our team Nigeria at this point in time. There's a news coming from the tennis federation that our own Ofiong Edem has moved 7th place in the tables tennis global ranking and remained the 3rd highest ranked African player in the world. At this point in time, she went from 123 to 116 in the latest ITTF ranking. Edem was the only Nigerian player to win the match in the 2020 Olympic Games. This is a big boost for her.
Big boost. The match she won actually propelled, this feat. Going into the Olympics, we had Aaron Akwadri, and a few.
Funke Oshonaike.
Yeah, for Funke, honestly speaking, I didn't expect much from her. I think she's past her prime. She's gone past her best, but it was very unfortunate that, out of all the table tennis players we took, apart from Ofiong, none of them was able to win a single game.
Of course.
So, when you rank the performances of Team Nigeria, team by team, I would say the table tennis performed better. They were the poorest of all of them. Because only Ofiong was able to. Because
she was able to win her first match.
Win her first match, and she was eventually knocked out in the second round. So for Aaron Okodri, he was in the first round. Funke was even in the preliminary stage. So their performance were very poor coming from the table tennis. But going to the Olympics, we had sort of high hopes, especially from Aaron Okodri, but unfortunately that on that day when a lot was expected from him, he simply did not live up to the expectation that a lot of Nigerians had for him.
We have a comment from Samuel, but at this point in time, we need to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to answer Samuel's question and also take a whole lot of stories that we still have for you. But for now, you can actually get to send in a comment on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube page. You can actually get to subscribe and share your videos, call your families and friends to come on the show while we talk about the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. Don't go nowhere. welcome back from that commercial break. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership podcast studio. We go to our next story where we're talking about Burkina Faso has claimed their first Olympic medal ever, and that actually, the medal was not even a bronze medal, was not even a silver medal, but was indeed a gold medal. The Burkina Faso Hujon Zango made history early hours of today. He claimed the country's first ever medal in the men's triple jump. The 28 years old who won bronze at the 2019 World Championship in Doha jumped 17.47 meters to claim third spot on the podium. Just so impressive from this Burkina Faso athlete, getting to claim that particular medal.
He made history for his country. I mean, we understand that this is the first ever medal Burkina Faso is winning in the Olympics. There's always the first time, so I hope this performance will spur on other African countries who are yet to, make an impact in the Olympics over the years to prepare for something. This year's Olympic, truth be told, has been a very unusual Olympics. Of course, COVID did not help matters. So all eyes are on France 2024, especially for countries who did well or who have some sort of staggered preparations as a result of, the COVID restrictions and all of that. So for him to be able to at least achieve this feat for his country, it's a good one for him. He's an Olympian. His name will go down in the history of the country and even in the history of the Olympics as winning the first medal for his country. So nice one for him.
I feel at this point in time he will be like it's second in command in Burkina Faso because for them getting to win medals in the Olympics, it shows that sports in other African countries are beginning to develop. I'm very, very sure this medal will actually spoil the country for them to actually invest in sports, and we should actually keep our finger crossed because they can actually get to spring up surprises. They can actually go ahead and make a triple jump, long jump, their specialty.
Absolutely.
And who knows? Who says they can actually get to win more medals in the next Olympics and in the men's Commonwealth Games? So we just get to put our finger crossed on Burkina Faso as they progress in the African continent and in the world at large. But moving away from the Burkina Faso athlete, we still head back to Team Nigeria, where the Nigerian ambassador to Japan has applauded Team Nigeria's performance at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. Talking about Abubakar Husseini has applauded the team, and he actually received them in the Nigerian embassy in Togo. In Tokyo, while he actually greeted and applauded the athlete. According to him, he said, "I have sincerely thanked all the athletes and officials that have worked assiduously to make Team Nigeria a success to compete and win medals at the Olympic Games. It's a great honor. The country of over 200 million people. The federal government of Nigeria is proud of you, but proud of you and all. But let me quickly add that the Ministry of Sport and Development will take care." Okay, he just has to applauding the athlete, for putting up an impressive performance. Also, the sports minister, who was actually there in that occasion, is actually promised that the sports ministry will actually take care of the medical bills of 5 athletes. Talking about Enoch Adegoke, Blessing Obulududu, Toby Amuson, Chukwuebuka, and Ishakiri, plus any of the athletes that is not seen any injury at this point in time. Do you think this is a welcome development?
No, it is. But even if he didn't even make the commitment, whose responsibility it is to take care of the athletes?
He's still the sports minister.
So it's not even a statement to actually come out in public and make. It's the responsibility of the ministry to, take care of the athletes who have one form of injury or the other they were actually on national assignment. So in this case, who takes care of them is the ministry. Then the hosting by the ambassador it's expected. It's nothing. It's nothing really spectacular. It's always expected that once you are in a foreign country on national assignment, exactly, host you, commend you. So, good one from them. Anyway, so at least they've gone to Japan. They've participated. Not the kind of Olympic performances that we all hoped it would be.
Of course. Well, now still in the same vein, Engineer Abu Gumel talking about the president and Nigeria Olympic Committee actually presented the International Olympic Committee pins and certificate to the medalists and urged them to prepare themselves very well for the forthcoming games and events so that they can perform better. And also he praised the efforts of all the stakeholders that actually aided the performance of Team Nigeria at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. But are we really satisfied with the performance of Team Nigeria at the Olympic Games?
It could have been better. The performance could have been better if not for, a couple of missteps here and there. The crisis in the sports federations did not help matters. So I think there's plenty of room for improvement. Like he's saying, the athletes should get ready. The athletes are always ready. They too should get ready. So it's one thing for the athletes to get ready for the next competition. It's another thing for the ministry and the associations, as the case may be, to also be ready. So same old, same old. We are back next year. We have the Commonwealth, the African Games too, are looking around the corner before France. So we just hope that this kind of issues we encountered in Tokyo will be the last time we'll be encountering such. I mean, like Musa clearly said, far back as 2004, the issues we are even grappling with now, they didn't even face those kind of issues back then. That's how many years ago. So is it like we are going back or we are moving forward? So there has to be a forward movement and not, we shouldn't look back at the past and say, oh, the past was better. We should look back and say, okay, yes, the past was good, but things have improved a great deal. So by France, everything should be right. There shouldn't be issue of kids, athletes having to make do with just one kid. Not good enough for a country like Nigeria. Even smaller countries who are there in the Olympics have took a lot of kids and things like that for their athletes. So Nigeria needs to improve. And if on the side of the administrators things get better, the athletes are always ready and eager to perform. So we can only hope for the best and hope that when they come back, they put their house in order so that we won't be encountering such experiences again moving forward.
Of course, we need to ensure that we put our hands in order ahead of the Commonwealth Games that will be coming up next year in London, and we hope that people who have the interest of sports at heart will actually not be in the aim of affair to pilot Team Nigeria to success at the Commonwealth Games. But away from Team Nigeria at this point in time, we head straight to the slamming and dunking game where the United States of America, after their first disappointing defeat in the first group game of the Tokyo Olympic Games. At this point, they are through to the finals of the basketball men's event. The team US progressed to the Tokyo 2020 men's basketball gold medal game after they defeated Australia in their match on Thursday. That's early hours of today. It was heartbreaking for the Bombers as they fell to their fifth Olympic semi-final defeat across 5 decades. The Australia must now regroup for the medal, for the bronze medal clash on Saturday as they continue their search for the nation's first international medal in men's basketball. America now will not get to face France, who beat them in the team opening game for a gold medal. But looking at the Australians, the Americans, and their performance so far. I know it was like a close fight in that particular match. But what do you make up of the US and the Australian match?
Yeah, going into the tournament, even from the trials, the US had a string of very poor performances, losing especially in the trials. They lost almost every game in the trials, even losing to our own the Tigers. But when the competition came in proper, even the first game, they even lost the first game. And a lot of basketball lovers, especially in the US, were actually criticizing the team and saying like this isn't the best team. Even we here, I think we had a few words and where someone asked if is this the best team the US could offer. But when it comes to basketball, when it mattered most, they finally reaching to the occasion. And once again, the US are in the finals. I mean, I wouldn't have expected anything short of that for them. You'd have really been, a shame, so to speak, if the US didn't even make it to the finals. You'll be like the balance of power in basketball is shifting away. But as it is now, that is not the case. Yes, they still have another tough game to play with France in the final, but I think they'll see this as opportunity to take back their pound of flesh, sort of like to revenge, the defeat in the first game in which they suffered against the French side. So it's going to be really a cracker of a final. And if the US go ahead to clinch this gold, this will be their third basketball gold medal in a row. When it comes to basketball, I mean, there's no denying the fact that they are the powerhouse. I mean, the single powerhouse, the world power of basketball. So everybody always expect them. If France win in this game, no disrespect to the French side, but if France wins, it will be considered an upset, honestly
Of
speaking.
course, no doubt about it.
Because sitting here, even without predicting the game, except something goes terribly wrong in the camp of the US basketball team, I really don't see the French side defeating them. I mean, that team is loaded with past and present NBA champions, MVPs of the game. So I don't see the French going past them in the gold medal match.
Looking at the scoreline between the US and Australia, the game ended 97 to 78 in favor of the US team. 19 points, separating that particular game. Very, very impressive. It shows that those guys have have left that disappointing performance against the French side in the opening game. Then taking a look at the French team, they actually played Slovenia and they defeated them 90 to 89. Just 1 point that the French team actually used to defeat the Slovenia. Is this not painful?
Yes, it is. When we're even previewing previously in the group of qualifiers, when we made our prediction, nobody even saw Slovenia in the picture. For me, actually, I was even shocked that they even made it this far, to the semi-finals. Because in a competition where you even have the Argentines who, are also very good at basketball when it comes to FIBA basketball. Same for the Spaniards. But unfortunately, they fell by the wayside, and it's setting Slovenia, made it to the semi-final. So good one for them, and just losing just by a point.
Just by a point.
Just by a point.
Because if you look at the first quarter, talking about the US match against Australia, the first quarter, the US actually they actually lost that quarter 18 to 24. The second quarter they came back to win that second quarter 24 to 21, and the third quarter they actually won that quarter about 34 to 10 in that particular one before getting before getting to actually win at the last quarter. The last quarter, they actually drew the last quarter, 23 to 23 points. It shows that the Australian actually gave the US a run for their money. It was not a one-way traffic that we expected, that we actually expected to see in that particular match. But it just shows that the Australians, they actually got all their playing wrong in the third quarter, having getting to lose the third quarter 32 to 10. Were they sleeping in the third quarter?
Not really sleeping. I watched some highlights of that game. In the third quarter, the US, powered by the Brooklyn Nets power forward Kevin Durant, took the game. Took the game by the scruffles, and he actually led the charge of the US. Really coming back to the game. He really showed his class. Kevin Durant actually showed the reason why he's one of the best players in current form in the NBA. I mean, three-time NBA MVP. So he stepped up and rallied. He's more meant to really come back and ended up defeating the Australians by that wide margin. So like I always say, when it comes to games like this, when it matters most, the US team showed their class. They showed why they are the pioneers of basketball. The biggest stars on the team actually shone bright on the day to really give the Americans the victory. So not disrespect to the Australians, also they've come this far.
Yeah, very, very good side.
They've come this far, yes, exactly. So I really didn't expect them to get to this point. Yes, I watched a few of their games, even during the trials. Good team, but considering the kind of opposition they had and other teams also in the other groups, I really didn't see them coming this far. But kudos to them. They still have a chance to play in the third place match. So, and I mean this will be like their third time of trying for. They are yet to win any medal at all in the basketball event. So yes, the third place match will be a good opportunity for them to try and at least win the medal. But judging from what happened in the game between France and Slovenia, is going to also be another cracker of a game. So I don't expect them to rough ride over the Slovenians just like that. It's going to be a tough game. The Slovenians still won't go down without putting up a fight. So I expect to see a tough game.
Because if you check, the score line in between France and Slovenia, we saw Slovenia taking the first quarter 29 to 27 point. The second quarter, they actually not drew the second quarter 15 points. The third quarter, France actually they were winners in the third quarter 29 to 21. While in the fourth quarter, Slovenia actually defeated France 24 to 19 points. So you see, it was just so close. A 1 point, should have allowed the match to go on extra time and see they were able to finish up the match in extra time. But at this point in time, they will be playing Australia in the third leg. But we need to go for another commercial break now. When we come back, we'll be giving our prediction on who will win the men's basketball gold medal and the bronze medal. Not forgetting, a bronze medal was decided in the women's football, and also tomorrow will be the finals for the women's football, and also we'll be looking at the third place match in the men's football. But for now, we'll go for a commercial break, and when we come back, we still have a whole lot to talk about. Don't go away. Welcome from that short break. You still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast our studio. We are actually talking about the basketball final event where the US team will battle France in that particular final, while Australia will set out to win their first medal in the Olympics when they get to clash with Slovenia. But let's quickly take your prediction for the game between the United States and France.
Off the top of my head, I'm going for the United States for the gold medal, France for the silver medal, and maybe the Australians
Mm.
for the bronze.
Of course, it's going to be a tight call for me because
Yes, it is.
at this point in
It is.
time,
It is.
the US still will want to bring back that impressive performance we have been having. While the French team will see if we can actually do it at the group stage.
Consolidate, yeah.
Why can't we not do it at the final? So it's going to be a fight to finish. It's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a photo finish for both teams. But I will actually bank my money on the United States of America for them to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, taking the game between Australia and Slovenia.
For the bronze.
Yes, sir. Okay, of course, Salifu, the sports editor of Leadership, these people are Salifu join us all the way from Tokyo. Salifu, how you doing? Right, see if we can actually do that.
Consolidate, yeah.
Right. Of course, we can barely hear you. Of course, we can barely hear you, bro. But at this point in time, we are actually hoping that he can join us all the way from Tokyo. We'll go straight to the football event that was actually decided earlier today, looking at the women's third place match at the United States of America defeated the Australian side 4-3 in that particular match. The United States were actually leading the match going to halftime. They were leading 3-1 before they actually came back to the second half, and the match ended 3-4 in favor of the United States. They actually fell to Canada in the semi-final, and now they picked up the bronze. Do you think the bronze medal is as good as the gold medal for them?
No, it's good. It's more like a consolation.
Mm.
The United States were the defending champions coming into this Olympics. They are used to, winning the gold medals of the Olympics when it comes to female football at the Olympics.
Mm.
But this time, unfortunately, a certain Canada, they are not American neighbors. Actually, knocked them out of reckoning. So they had to play the third place match, and of course, losing that match would have been very, very painful. So I guess they had to do everything possible to ensure that at least they don't leave Tokyo empty-handed.
Mm.
So they had to settle for the bronze medal. Not good enough, as good as the gold, but I think they will be okay with it. At least they're able to get something out of.
So just a slim victory for
exactly.
defeated
So
1-0, going in the semi-finals and going to the finals. And for me, we know that the US team are the best team in the world. They are world champions. Coming to the Olympics, we thought that there will be
yes,
like
everybody
at this point in
felt they were
time.
going to win, but
Canada actually has the fire extinguisher, and they actually get to end their hopes of getting to win.
but that goes to again show you that in sports generally,
There's no more.
yes, like they say, they are no longer minnows.
Of
So
course.
in every different kinds of sport, different countries are actually coming up, matching up with the best. A lot of these countries now also have players playing in some of the best leagues all over the place. So when they come to represent, their countries at international events like this, they tend to assemble the best of the players they have, So these kinds of games are getting closer and closer these days. So no surprise, like even before the semi-final match when we previewed it, I said it was a tough call for me because I didn't think that the US were going to, yes, exactly, just run through the Canadian side just like that. I knew it was going to be a tough match, but the Canadians eventually made it through, and now they have a chance to play in the final. And of course, they are already assured of at least what's this, a silver medal. But they might want to take it a step further and go all out for gold. So we'll be keeping an eye on that encounter because it promises to be, a tough one. You'll be up against the
Sweden.
Sweden.
I was just about to introduce the final because the final will be happening tomorrow against Sweden. Will lock horns with Canada for a place for the gold medal. We know that both sides has in the last 5 outing, Sweden has won twice. In the last 6 outing, 5 outing, Sweden has won twice. They have drawn 2 games, while the Canada has actually won one match. But looking as far back as 2014, Sweden and Canada played a 1-1 draw in 2017. Canada actually defeated Sweden in 2018. Sweden defeated Canada 3-1. In 2019, they both played 0-0. While in 2019, also Sweden defeated Canada 1-0. So at this point in time, going to the encounter, Sweden has the upper edge. But don't you think that the Canadians can actually throw up
it's a final,
a major upset?
Upset, yeah. Yeah, for me, I won't even consider it an upset if they didn't get to the final by a fluke. It wasn't a stroke of luck that got them to the final. They played their game. Defeating the US is not a small feat. They're in the final, and usually final games can go anywhere. As long as it's your day, it might not be Sweden's day, or it might just go anywhere. So, prediction for now, too close to call. Too close to call.
Of course, actually, for me, I think that Sweden to win that particular fight because we know that when it comes to the women's football, they has what it takes. They have produced the European champions. Their women league is very, very good, and most of the women that played in the league actually played for the national team. So we expect to see a whole lot of fireworks in that particular match. Moving away from the women's football, we go straight to the other side, talking about men's football. Tomorrow, the third place match would be decided where the host, Japan, we actually get to lock horns with Mexico tomorrow. In the last 3 outing, Mexico has actually they actually won 1 match, while Japan actually they have 2 wins on their belt. The last time. The last performance we saw in 2012, Mexico defeated Japan 3-1. In 2016, Mexico lost to Japan 2-1. In 2021, Japan defeated Mexico 2-1. So looking at this, it's a top match. Japan are the host country. Don't you think it will actually give them that motivation for them to finish well?
I think so. I'm going for Japan in this one. I think Japan will want to at least salvage something. They're the hosts, so they will be going for an all-out victory to at least end up with a bronze medal in this one.
Of course, just to let you know that the finals will come up on Saturday, where we're going to see the likes of the Brazilians and getting to lock horns with the Spanish team. So we're going to keep our finger crossed on that one. I will bring you all the latest news happening right there in Tokyo at the ongoing Olympic Games. But for now, we head straight to the medal table. Let's see what the medal table actually look like after the end of proceedings today. China are still the one leading the log. You can see that for yourself. They have 34 gold medal, 24 silver medal, and 16 bronze medal, making a total of 74. While the United States of America have 29 gold medal, 35 silver medal, 27 bronze medal, making it a total of 91 gold medal. While Japan has 22 gold medal, 10 silver medal, 14 bronze medal, Australia 17 gold, 5 silvers, 19 bronze. Russia has 16 gold, 22 silver, 20 bronze. Great Britain 16 gold medal. They have 18 silver medal, and they also have 17 bronze medal. While Germany, they have 9 gold medal, 9 silver, 16 bronze. While the likes of France, Italy, Netherlands, and New Zealand all have 7 gold medal apiece. Then Republic of Korea 6 gold, Hungary 5 gold, Canada 5 gold, Cuba 5 gold, Brazil 4 gold, Czech Republic 4 gold, Spain also 3, while Switzerland actually have 3 gold medal in the packet. The likes of Croatia, Jamaica, Belgium all have 3, while the likes of Sweden also have 2 gold medal. Then looking at the African, where the African team has been playing, so we saw the likes of Tunisia, getting to win a gold medal in that particular one, and the likes of South Africa, Kenya, they all have one gold in that particular one. Let's see, go down a bit, and let's see where Team Nigeria has been placed at this point in time.
Still haven't changed. 71 position.
Yes, we have just 1 silver and 1 bronze medal in the total number of medals.
2 medals.
Yes, we have just 2 medals. We are ranked at 74 on
71 actually.
Okay, 71 in all over, on the table. Looking at Ghana, Ghana has just 1 bronze medal, while the likes of Cote d'Ivoire also have 1 bronze medal. Burkina Faso, they have 1 bronze medal. It was actually a bronze medal they won, and the men triple jump and not the earlier, But looking at the tables, do you think the US can come back and win and defend the title?
I mean,
it's
we just have very few events to go. The Chinese have like 15 or thereabout more gold medals than the United States, so I really don't see them matching up with the Chinese. Overall, of course, they have more medals because they have more silver and more bronze medals, but like we say in the Olympics, the gold are more, value carries more weight. So the way it's looking, the Chinese are clear winners of these Olympics.
At this point in time, we want to thank you for staying with us at the cost of the show. Not forgetting our sponsors, Cast Print. They are the best printing company we have here in Nigeria. I can actually put my money where my mouth is at this point in time. You can actually check them out on www.castprint.com.ng. And also, we're talking about NDLEA. They are supporting Nigeria. They are saying NDLEA wishes Team Nigeria best of luck at the Olympic Games. Not forgetting the Massa strength, the maritime industry to a better future. These are those companies who has been, getting, to support us. I would say a very big thank you for your support. Also, a very big thank you for you, getting to watch us from the comfort of your zone. We say that we'll make a return tomorrow, the same time, for yet another fresh edition of Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes. I just want to thank Alpha for coming on the show.
Nice to be here.
Of course, my name is Olawale Ayeni. We'll make a return bigger and better tomorrow. But for now, God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye-bye.